Hello everyone and welcome to another car profile, otherwise known as a BoP test of course, and without even reading the bottom you probably can't tell what it is, but it is in fact Peugeot. It's the Vision Gran Turismo car, which is a Group 3 car, believe it or not. Personally I don't think it should be. It's a bit out there, and to me Group 3, GT3 should represent real cars, but even so this is the car we've got, so let's have a look at it. It's an MR car. It's very wide. I mean, this car is the widest car I think in the class, and by a margin as well, which makes it really difficult on some of the tracks which you are about to see, because of course we've got 4 tracks that we look at: Brands Hatch, Dragon Trail, Interlagos and Suzuka. So let's start off with Brands Hatch. So as you can see, we crossed the line. We've got a few issues with the brake balance. I think it's more towards the rear in this car. It does suffer a little bit with weight issues, but you can already see how wide it is. Now, one nice thing is it's really stable when accelerating. It doesn't have second, third gear issues. It just has issues with weight transfer. But the problem is, because it's so wide, it effectively shrinks the track, and by a margin as well. So like Graham Hill Bend just there, suddenly you're clipping the grass on the outside, you can't get a decent angle in towards the corner, and it really starts to show on this track. I mean, if you look at all my times, they're all in the 23s, we're struggling to make the 22s, it's very difficult. Now this car doesn't suffer with drastic understeer or drastic oversteer, except with weight transfer, as I've just said. So really it should be performing a lot better than it does, and as you see there, I have to really balance the car through that corner, because you clip the curb, it can unsettle the car. Again through here, I'm to really balance it. But because it's so wide, as I say, it struggles. It really does struggle at Brands Hatch. Oh, look at the rear going there. So that's what I mean. Little bit of weight shifting on that corner, because obviously it cambers in a little bit to help the car. But because then you're going through the corner, it comes off that. The weight transfer, bit of an issue. You saw that there. But even so, we're going to head towards the line, and we are going to get into the 22s just, and our optimum is going to be at 122.462. So not too bad. As I say, I think it would be faster if it wasn't so wide. It's just really difficult. Now, one thing I did notice at Brands Hatch was my speed across the start-finish line was fast. So I knew it was going to be fast here, and if you've played GT, you understand that this car is used quite a lot on fast tracks. Dragon Trail, here we are. So we're going to test speed here. Of course, on this over the crest sort of section, it did struggle a little bit. That's why you see the time dropping massively. Believe it or not, this is a really slow sector. I did faster laps, and it's only lap 2. But we look at speed, we look at curb issues, and stability at the end of sector 2 as well, of course. We've got the chicane and things like that. So we get a 32.7. We do get that down to a 0.6. As I say, there wasn't the best first corner, first chicane. As you see, no real understeer issues. As unexpected, I suppose it is really, in the fact that it's a very powerful car. You expect understeer. It doesn't suffer from power understeer or power oversteer, which is very nice. You do rev the limit off this car as we come to this right-hander. This is where we're going to test stability a little bit. Absolutely no issues at all. Now, if you do look at the TV camera, you can see the car is quite raised, so it doesn't suffer with curb issues in terms of bottoming out, which is kind of handy. Now, you can flat the chicane, but you've got to be very careful because the car is so wide. You can see that on the screen. I've never seen a car that wide that goes off the screen. It's very hard to like flat it through there. So I started lifting just to make sure I got through. I did do it a couple of times. Occasionally I got four-wheel drifts because I was pushing so hard. Very deadly in the chicane in terms of making it, not making it because of the width of the car. As we head towards the line, this lap is actually at 36.5 on lap number 2, which is unbelievable. And we actually get that down to a 136.3 in terms of optimum, which puts it second fastest there. And it would be faster, I think, if it wasn't for the chicane. That's just, you know, lets it down a little bit. And I think it's actually the fastest car in this class by a margin as well. Let's come to Interlagos. Obviously, Interlagos is quite a wide track in places, and then it shrinks up a little bit as well. Obviously, the first and last sector is more about speed. The middle sector is more about handling. Again, we're going to test undulations, curbs. We've got a mixture of all sorts in there. So you can see our optimum's already down to a 130.7. We do get a first sector of 22.9 on a few laps. It struggles on this corner. Now, again, it's just because of the width of the track. The car is so wide, it shrinks the track, so it's much harder to get round. So it feels like understeer, but it's not understeer. It's just the fact that the car is literally so wide. Going up here, again, just going over the crest of the hill. The rear starts to come out a little bit. That's just weight transfer. Got to keep that in mind when using this car. As we then come into this left-hander. Again, it's going to have weight transfer here. We've got the weight sort of dropping from the front, going back to the back. So you've got to be really careful of it there as we come up to this right-hander. Again, this is a very tight corner. You've got to be really careful. But you can accelerate out of here. No wheel spin, which is unusual. As I say, it's a very fast car. You expect wheel spin. Coming down this hill, it really struggled with the weight transfer and the bump. So I had to be careful there. It also forced a little bit of understeer. Leaving this corner, you can see, look, no issues with second gear, no issues with third gear. So you could really push on. Now, our best sector 2, we got loads of these, I think, was a 22.8. Our middle, that is our best, the 44.9 that you've just seen. There's a slight bit more time in there, but not massive, obviously, compared to some of the 44.4s I think we've seen. Yeah, unbelievable stuff. So our optimum goes down to a 130.628. Oh, actually, we got a 44.8 on the next lap. I forgot about that one. So yeah, we get down to a 0.6, which is not bad. The first and last sector really help it massively there. So we go to Suzuka now, and Suzuka, we've been having all sorts of problems here. First 5 laps, all over 2 minutes. Lap 7 over 2 minutes. Trail braking, it has issues, as I say. The brakes are set to the rear a little bit, so you've got to be careful of trail braking because the rear will start to come out very quickly, and then obviously that's weight transfer. That causes more issues in the car. Going through here, as I say, it doesn't understeer because of power. It's just the fact the car is really wide, so it gives you that sense of understeer. Just lose the back end a little bit. 33.0, I don't expect it to go much faster than that. You've got to be careful on this corner. Again, a little bit of weight transfer. Got to be careful. If you touch that curb on the left on that corner, you go flying. So, yes, I say, be very careful with weight transfer in this car. Coming into here, just running a little bit wide at Gr3 1. We bring it back for Gr3 2. Sort of gave us a nice, interesting line for Gr3 2. 19.1, we got that a few times. Potential of a 19.0 there. As we come towards the hairpin. Now the hairpin, interestingly, is really nice. You saw it in Interlagos how you could just put the power down, not a lot of wheel spin. So you see we're hitting the limiter there in first gear. You need to hit the limiter in this car in order to get the best out of it. So hit the limiter, keep going, then change gear. Got the most out of it, so we're 3 tenths up. We were actually the same time up on the previous lap. We just made a little mistake later on in the lap. Coming into Spoon, again, no issues with understeer. Got to be careful because of how wide the car is, about the right hand side, and the light green stuff. Got to be really careful about that stuff. As we leave there, just get a bit of oversteer. It's a slight mistake there, losing a little bit of time, half a tenth or so. Remember, if you push too much initially, you will gain a little bit of time, so it's about half a tenth. As we come up to our speed trap, 158, literally the fastest car we've had there. Not too bad there at 130R. We have done that a little bit quicker in other laps as we come into the chicane. And again, we just ran a little bit deep. Of course, we're going really fast in this car, and that's really the issue. As we head towards the line, our optimum is going to stay at that 158.677. Now, I accidentally clicked escape on my keyboard, which is connected to my PlayStation, so this instantly goes off, so I've sort of snapped it a little bit. There we go. So you can see the optimums there, but let's have a look where it actually came in the rankings. And as you can see the slight yellow highlight, so it's not quite in the top, but it's in the top 10, believe it or not. It's actually come in 9th position, the Peugeot Vision Gr3. This is a surprise, actually, because I wasn't expecting it to come this high when I first got to it. As I said in the sort of video or the profile of each of the tracks, it's a fast car, so in the handling circuits it should struggle a little bit more. It doesn't. It only struggles because of the width of the car, which is why the time's a little higher there, for example. It's then quicker at the fast track, which is expected. A balanced circuit, it's then even. And then again, another balanced circuit where it struggles a little bit with the width of the car, but there's some fast stuff in there as well. It's sort of there or thereabouts. So it's done fairly well, to be fair. Now, 158 miles an hour. Easily the fastest car. I wasn't sure whether on one lap it was 159. I just did my normal check, which is the fastest sector and also my fastest lap of that sector, just to make sure we get the speed trap right. If you look at power and weight, it hasn't actually been nerfed that much to get in the class. So even though I think it probably shouldn't be here because it doesn't represent an actual car, it's still, you know, it's not unnerfed, which I can see why it's in. So I've put some comments here as per usual. So it's a very, very wide car, which causes issues on small tracks. We saw that with Brands Hatch and a little bit of Suzuka on the technical sections. And it just makes its width, you know, it's harder to corner. You're reducing the angle of the corner, basically, because you're going to have to go tighter into a corner to make sure the car can get round. It's like if you were driving a truck. It's the same principle. So, you know, potentially going to clip grass and gravel more, which is why it's a risk indicator of 6. While it's more stable with power, weight transfer, and the fact that you are going to clip a lot more stuff and spin a lot more. You saw Suzuka, I was crashed a lot on those first 5 laps because I just couldn't get the car right. I couldn't, it's too wide, and that was a real issue. And I've just said there, fairly stable, no power oversteer. Even in the second and third gear is a big issue in this class, and we don't seem to have it here. It's got a slight issue with bumps, especially when full throttle. Curves can cause oversteer as well. It's just weight transfer basically, and the brake balance does seem to be set to the rear. Not sure why I said rear. I saw weight. I said rear. Undulations again could cause issues, but it is so fast in a straight line, like ridiculous. I mean, we hardly go to 6th gear here. It's got a whole other gear. So if you go to a really fast track, like one of the Tokyo tracks, this is the car to use, and we've seen that already in some daily races. So that is the Peugeot Vision Gran Turismo car. So to me, as a fast car, this is sort of where I expect it to sort of be. You know, slower at handling circuits, faster at fast tracks. That's perfect. That's how it should look. Hey, look, you get my VLOOKUP statement there. Anyway, that is the Peugeot Vision Gran Turismo. What is next? Because we're nearly at the end now. We've got the Volkswagen GTI and the Toyota Supra. I believe they're going to come both tomorrow, and then the Lexus will be on the Wednesday, which is the day after that. And then we've initially done our first phase. Now, I do believe any of these cars down here, so there's some particularly slow ones. So these two, you're probably wondering why these two are down here, because I know the Nissan, for example, is being used by everybody because of the competition. Maybe it's because of the G29. I think from memory it was to do with the fact that it was very hard to get stable, and obviously large amounts of understeer. But again, we will test these cars. So obviously we've got to test these two again because they've already been rebalanced. Same with this. Surprised the Aston hasn't, so maybe we have to just look at the Aston. But yes, even so, the Volkswagen is next. We'll then look at the rebalance of cars. And I know someone mentioned fuel and tyre wear. That will come in after we've done the initial BoP test. So once we've done all of them, they're all set based on the current live patch that we're in, whatever that is. We'll then jump to the next phase of the testing. But that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. It's the video playlist there of all of these BoP tests that we've done. But that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. I will see you in the next video.